renew our pledge of allegiance and devotion to our country, and we pray that the stars and stripes may truly wave forever over the land of the free and the home of the brave. May we, the leaders of Hillsdale County, Michigan, be empowered with wisdom and humility as we serve. And may the citizens of Hillsdale County, Michigan, be blessed with gratitude and the courage to stand united under God and under our flag on Flag Day, June 14th. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Is there any public for public comment?
Yes, this is Jean-Paul Rudel, Director of the Friend of the Court. If I could address the board, I know today the board is going to consider a possibility of hazard pay for workers that work throughout the crisis. And I just wanted to highlight the contribution made by 3 of the workers at the Friend of the Court office. Supervising Enforcement Officer Carrie Kling, Supervising Account Officer Shelley Nolan, and Office Manager Shayla Arnold. In highlighting the work that these workers did during the crisis, I don't mean to detract in any way from contributions made by other county employees in their respective departments, because I am aware that many workers have stepped up to the plate during this crisis. The Friend of the Court office probably doesn't have quite the finesse of some of the other frontline workers. However, we do a substantial contribution to our community by ensuring that a significant portion of our community receives support in a timely manner, as well as assist them in the resolution of custody and parenting time disputes. When the crisis first hit and we were asked by the courts to essentially reduce the work and the staff that attended in office, we identified the essential functions that we would have to do, and we decided that with these 3 workers and myself, we could maintain the essential and critical functions that the office did. We maintained our hours, regular business hours. We were closed to the public. However, in comparison to many other FOC offices across the state who completely closed, did not answer their phones, and really took a while before they started doing any of the work that was requested of them. And I think that by reducing our staff, we were able to have 4 staff stay at home and stay safe. And I think that contributed to our community as well. And I was really impressed with these 3 workers that they stepped up to the plate like this and never once questioned or complained about anything, and just took on doing these essential functions and critical functions throughout the crisis, and really coming to work. No one ever mentioned the higher risk that they were taking by doing that. Again, thank you, and I hope the board will consider this as one of many of the contributions of county workers throughout this COVID crisis, this unprecedented crisis, and I hope that the Honorable Board will consider awarding them a hazard pay for having taken this risk. Thank you.
Thank you, JP. Anyone else wish to address at this time? Hearing none, there will be another public comment at the end of the meeting. Moving along, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Julian Nema.
Okay.
Julia's moving.
Okay, Julie moved, Namo supported. Any comments, additions, corrections to the consent agenda? Hearing none, we will take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Wiley. Caswell. Carolyn.
Yes.
Yes, if you called my name, I can't hear anything all of a sudden.
Okay, try again.
Commissioner,
Ruth? Yes.
okay, and Commissioner Gaines.
Yes.
Okay,
Got it.
consent agenda is approved. Thank you. Correspondence is listed. Any comments on correspondence? I know I had a copy, of Rebecca's daily report, and I've been sending that out to you. I didn't send it last night, although last night we did report one new death, Hillsdale County resident. So we are at 171 cases. It was 172, and just as a note, they've identified one of those cases was actually an Indiana person. So our count dropped from 172 to 171. But in the meantime, yesterday we had that additional death. So we are at 25 deaths and 171 cases. So any other comments on correspondence?
Mark,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I just want to point out that we've had 2 new cases in Hillsdale County in the last 2 weeks. And
I believe that's correct.
that's a real credit to the citizens of the county for following through on social distancing and doing all the other things they've talked about. We've come a long way from where we were 2 months ago.
That's also why the courts have entered phase 1, because the court's talking to the health officer. It was determined that we have started the downward trend, if you will. So you're absolutely right. Everybody's diligence and being vigilant is definitely helping. So any other comments? I would entertain a motion to approve the regular agenda.
Mark,
Yes.
7 to the regular agenda, maybe down under Bruce's report.
Try that again because it came very broken and garbled here.
20-057. Add that under Bruce's report.
That's fine.
Thank you.
You should have all received a copy of that along with Derek's spreadsheet, and I know Derek will be on board to help go through that when we get there. So do I have a motion to approve the regular 57 added in?
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Namu, supported by Ruth. Any other additions or corrections to the regular agenda? Hearing none. Jody?
Commissioner Caswell,
Yes.
Rowland,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Gaines,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley.
Yes. All right, thank you. And that brings us up to you, Sue.
I know you're very busy and you have a lot of things to get done. I did send a PowerPoint out. We'll go through it relatively quickly so that you can get on with the rest of your business for this morning. I'm sure everyone is familiar with our office, but I just wanted to let you know for sure. Here we have Annette Sands is also a member of the EDP team, and she's our administrative coordinator. Annette and I make up the Economic Development Partnership in terms of employees for the organization. And we have worked throughout the COVID situation because we're quite busy, kind of busier than ever through that. So, oh, look, it's up on the screen.
There you go, Sue, you're all
I'll be
set.
darned, look at this. So I don't know how to control it, but thank you very much for getting it up there.
Sue,
Yes,
I think Scott will run it for you. So I guess if you need him to move a slide, just say so and he'll
okay.
run through it.
Okay, you can skip down to the next slide and then one more down and we'll go over the board. This is just to let everyone know who is on the board of directors for the Economic Development Partnership. They are the governing body of our work and our strategic planning. By design, our board of directors does have representation from the county, from our 4 city municipalities, from agriculture, manufacturing, finance, education, the nonprofit sector, and the service sector. And we want to always make sure that our reach is broad in terms of who is on our board, so we get input from every direction in the county that represent all of our citizens in one way or another. And our current board, we are at 21 members for our current board. We did just have the election of officers, and they are listed on the sheet there as Rick Scherer is our board chair, Don Gurman from County National Bank is our vice chair, Tom Condon is our treasurer, and Vicki Morris from Century Bank is our secretary. And we appreciate very much all of those folks who serve on that board. Julie Gaines is our representative from the county commission. And thank you, Julie, for giving me the opportunity and offering to let me come and speak with you guys. Thank you so much. And if we can move right down to the next slide. The Economic Development Partnership, we don't produce things. By and large, we are about relationships, and not only our relationship within the community, but also bringing the people within the community into relationships with each other so that we have a good conversation across the county about who's doing what and how things are getting done. Primarily, our focus is industrial. We were formerly the Hillsdale County Industrial Development Commission, for those of us old enough to remember that. And that was the focus. We have broadened that as we became the Economic Development Partnership. But we still do a lot of work with our industrial parks. Those tend to be the higher paying jobs in the county, and that is what we would like to make sure we are always focusing on, serving our existing employers in that industry, as well as our other commercial and service industries, and helping them to grow their base here in Hillsdale County. We like to advocate for all of our businesses and coordinate with our local municipalities, state and resources, federal resources, because anything we can bring to a business to help them save time or money allows them to use that time and money to grow their business, hire more people, which increases our financial wherewithal of our citizens in Hillsdale County. Up until the COVID, we had very low unemployment. Right now, we are unfortunately at 37%. But that's, that'll change as people get back into work and get back into the swing of things. And we'll talk about the job market very shortly. But the part of the relationship that makes it important is working with the businesses, helping them to grow, getting people employed, and creating the tax base in Hillsdale County that we need to grow as a community. And if we can go down to the next slide, this information kind of coincides. If you could go down one more slide, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. The Hillsdale County investments, and this is information we track from year to year just to kind of keep an eye on how our economy is looking overall. And it's been looking quite good. We did consolidate a few of the years because we've been tracking it for so long, but we do have very good county investment dollars in terms of our businesses, and this includes not only industrial business. If you look at last year, we had very high numbers because the college had very big investments. They put a lot of money into this community last year, 2018, I apologize. And 2019, we did not have, those investment dollars were all into the previous year, even though they have continued to do work, in the community. And we did not have a big expansion at Martin, which has kind of been unusual. But I think this year coming up, should things continue to go well, we'll see a nice investment out in that area also. Our unemployment, as we had mentioned, has been very low. And the nice part about that is as people get jobs, they can buy homes, and we track the housing trend. Julie, you're more familiar with that probably than any of us. But we do track, and this is through Julie's office, the Board of Realtors, to make sure how our market is doing for housing. And we probably could always use more housing. I see we do have some beautiful condos going up out on Bacon, just off of Bacon. The market's, it's bearing some pretty high-end housing costs, which is a good thing for Hillsdale County. So if we can move on to the next slide. This is a quick update on a loan that we received from the USDA. It is to help businesses start up or grow, businesses that are currently existing. And this is more based toward our small business community. Our initial loan access was $200,000. And you can see the chart. These are the loans that have been made over the years that we've had this, which we started making loans in about 2014. And at this point, we've got in loans out in the community, $257,476. And we, of course, have to pay that $200,000 back to the USDA. And our payment every year is just under $9,000 to return $9,000. Listen to me, $9,000 every year so that we can pay down that loan. But as the loan gets paid off, we do relend the funds that come back in on the payments that we get from businesses. Of the loans that are there, quite a few are paid off. At the Turn has paid off their loan, Hillsdale Health and Wellness, the M&M Smokehouse, and the Luigi loan. All of those have been paid off. The others are currently active loans, and people are all up to date on their payments, I'm very happy to say. So that seems to be working well in Hillsdale County, and we just like to keep that money reinvested in our business community, keep the jobs going, and keep people in business that maybe wouldn't have a business had they not had that extra help. Most of them were their major financing came through a lender. For the most part, it was County National Bank. But they came to utilize our funding for additional things that they needed, that the bank had kind of gone to the max of what they would loan. And then we step in and provide additional funding. So that is where that loan is currently at for the county. And we have a loan that's in process. I'm not sure if it's going to be finalized or not. So as funds become available, we'll be certainly happy to let people know. So if you have a business that you know that wants to obtain a loan. There's a loan committee that makes those decisions for the EDP, and we'll let you know.
Hey, Sue,
Yes, sir.
so I'm assuming that to this committee, a business needs to submit an application?
Yes, they would come through, that starts in our office.
Okay, so they can pick up an application at your office for that?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, or they can just call and come in and talk about what they want to do. We try and make it as easy as we can.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You bet. And if you want, I meant to ask this at the beginning and I forgot, I apologize. Would the county commissioners want to be on the general mailing list for the EDP? I know Julie gets stuff from us as she is a board member, but I didn't know if that was something that if you already get too much email, that's perfectly fine. But if you did want us to add you to our general distribution for things that are going on, we'd be happy to do that. So you can let me know whenever that's convenient, if you'd like that. And we can move on to the next slide if we can there. Okay. Leadership Hillsdale is another program we're doing in partnership. And this one is with Spring Arbor and the Hillsdale County Community Foundation. As we look around our community, we have a lot of great leaders who are currently guiding the work that gets done in Hillsdale County. And I think, like any good succession planning, you need to look to your future leaders and who are those people going to be. And the leadership program is one that I went through when I was in Lenawee. As a matter of fact, they held the classes here in Hillsdale County. When I went through it in Lenawee, Jackson County has a leadership program that is probably 30 plus years old. And it's a great way to get young people or people who want to move into a leadership role, to put them through the training that's kind of going to help them get to that point where they understand a little bit more about their community. These are the classes that have that are scheduled. We went through, of course, and did through March, and then COVID broke out. So we are rescheduling the remainder of the classes and hope to still finish those by the end of this year. And these are taught by subject matter experts, you know, the people that are coming in to do the training for these folks. It's a very interactive coursework that is being done. And we hope we're going to probably double up on sessions through the rest of the year to get finished and have a graduation this year. In addition to the classroom coursework, there will be a community project, and those are going to take place as soon as everything settles down and we understand what can be done in the community, what's acceptable and what's appropriate in terms of contact and whatnot. So that's just one of the partnership programs we have going. And any questions on that? Okay, if we could shoot down to the next slide, that would be great. Thank you. Michigan Works is another partner that we work with on a pretty regular basis. Every week they have a list of jobs that comes out for Hillsdale County, and we do publish that out and distribute that. It's on our website, but we also have a distribution list that I send it out to people that may have mentioned they're seeking a job, be it for themselves, their family. I send it out to school counselors, teachers, people who may have students that are interested in employment. And this is just a sample of what the report looks like. And these are just, just a few of the top jobs. But this week alone, there were 130 jobs posted for Hillsdale County. I have received phone calls from people who are looking for employees, LITEX in the Hillsdale Industrial Park. Hillsdale Hospital has one job posted here, but they actually have probably a half a dozen jobs that are open on the website where they post them. Speed Rack, Precision Metal Arts, all of these people are hiring. Livonia Tool. And if you notice, the signs are going back up out in the front yards in the industrial parks. So I do look to see our unemployment numbers drop pretty quickly for people because the jobs are there and available. So hopefully we'll get those filled. And if you ever know anyone who's looking, Michigan Works has My Talent where they can go and look for those. But again, whatever they have posted on My Talent for Hillsdale County, we keep updated on our website every Monday when we get the jobs. And can move on to the next slide. Okay, and then there was COVID. Our immediate opportunity through COVID was the state of Michigan. The MEDC provided some funding through the Michigan Strategic Fund, which is typically dollars that are going out to companies that are doing expansions or where they're locating into the community. It's money that they help businesses establish or grow in the state of Michigan. But they did allocate $10 million statewide, and each county received funding based on population. And these are the small businesses in Hillsdale County that did receive funding through the dollars that came through our office. There was a review committee that went through the applications. They also had loans that were available, and those were directly a determination through the MEDC. So we didn't have any input on the loan portion. But just to give you an idea of the applications, and the amount of money was only $40,946. We got almost $100,000 in loan requests for the grant funding and over $1.5 million in requests for loans. And that's just how dire the need was. And unfortunately, the funding just wasn't there to help as many people as we really would have liked to. But it was some of the first dollars out. And we did try to get those spread throughout the community. If you'll notice, obviously the majority are in the Hillsdale area, and Jonesville had a few loans, but we did try to, reach out to every community in the county and get those dollars across the board to businesses all around the county. And let's see. And this information is also on our website in case you want to, ever go back and look to see, how that went. And we can move on to the next slide. Here we go. Since the day one, we did put up a COVID resource area on our website. It's on the front page. And if you go in and click the COVID-19 resources, we keep that updated. For the first while of the COVID, this was being updated throughout the day. The information was just pouring in so fast and it outdated quickly. So it was a lot of work, and Annette worked very diligently as we gathered information and tried to keep that updated on a very regular basis from the onset. The Paycheck Protection Program is one of the programs that we've heard the most feedback from our business community about, and most of it, they have very positive experiences. A few glitches here and there, but we did have a lot of good feedback on that, and a lot of businesses saying that had it not been for that additional funding availability, they probably wouldn't have their doors open. So we're hoping that everybody can get back to work. I believe they've extended, the amount of time that you have to get people back in the door, because some of the companies that I'm talking to are bringing people back in the timely fashion that the governor has allowed. But then I've also said, if you need an additional 2 weeks, if you've maybe been in contact or you're worried about coming back, they are providing them an additional 2-week window before they come back to work. Just to make sure everyone is safe. Companies are doing a great job of safeguarding in the ones that are still, that have brought people back in. And we did have quite a few that remained open because they did have product line that was either healthcare driven or Department of Defense. So there is a list of, and there are probably more, but I know I spoke with these companies and they all did remain open at some level throughout the whole crisis because they were making product that was considered essential. So I have to say thank you to them and to our citizens. As Bruce had mentioned, I think people have been very gracious in our community. And I'm just always amazed in Hillsdale County at what wonderful citizens we have here. I think it's an impressive community to live in, and I love being here. It's wonderful. My daughter has moved to the community with her family, so it's great. It's just wonderful. And we can move on to the next slide. We are going to be in partnership again, applying for funding to the Economic Development Administration. We're working in partnership also with Region 2 Planning, Lenawee Now, and the EDP. Because it's federal funding that we're trying to obtain, you have to go beyond just your own county. You know, your funding potential grows substantially when you are working with different communities as well as, you know, just a single county. So we have partnered up, and it is to help all sectors and all of our businesses in retail, service, healthcare, industry, and manufacturing. And it's to help them understand how to make their business a little bit more resilient, how they can participate, position themselves so that they're always looking out for what are the new situations that are going to change. And we're going to see changes, you know, in our talent system. We are going to have, for a lot of our businesses, better financial planning. And just to go back to the grant situation, there were situations, you know, with finance, because there were some financials required for the grant fund that was available. And it would be helpful. It was a hindrance for some people. They did not have the good financial information to produce, and you do have to be able to produce financial information if you're going to look for grant funding. So some of our businesses will have an opportunity, if we obtain the grant funding to do the work on this, to have access to financial expertise to help them, you know, with books and reporting and understanding how to better set up their financial situation. And also, this is hopefully going to help us with a reshoring effort as we bring product back from other countries, because as everyone knows, our supply chain is all over the world, and some of that's going to have to come back to this country because we had the disruption it's just not acceptable to move forward and not have a plan and start bringing that business back to our communities. And we are selling ourselves through this grant, along with Lenawee County, as rural communities, because rural communities have a very definite edge, in my opinion. We don't have the dense population. We have excellent workforce. And it's a place where people would want to live. And I think a lot more people are going to look for a business location that has a more rural environment. So we are going to be marketing that aspect of who we are as a rural community, and opposed to a big downtown New York, Chicago, and whatnot. And if we watch, you know, the news, which everyone's probably so sick of the news, but we did have people who were reporting out. They've been working from home. Businesses are saying, you know, we don't need the brick and mortar in a downtown Chicago or in New York, because our people are doing great working from home. If we can increase our fiber availability out here, I don't see why our community can't be an incredibly attractive place for people to come to work that can work long distance, and don't have to report to an office. So I think there's a lot of opportunity that's coming at the end of the road for our community, and hopefully we'll get the funding to help us get that jump started. And for our next slide, in the works. In the past, we have done a publication that was called Made in Hillsdale County, and it's a full color book that we sent out to the students, and it was focused on manufacturing, but we would like to, and we are going to republish, do another publication, but I think it's going to be more of your career in Hillsdale County. As you know, there are a lot of different career opportunities in this county, and Julie, you were good enough to arrange for students to come through the county courthouse. I don't think people have the faintest idea of the vast array of jobs that are available and what different skills they require. So we are going to do a 40-page full-color publication, and we're going to invite anyone who wants to purchase a page in the publication, and we're going to get it distributed to the schools, and then beyond that, because it needs to get into the hands of parents who, you know, maybe they don't even know for sure what's available in Hillsdale County, but we'll get that out and about in the community once it's published. So those, we'll be getting started on that project probably within the next month. We'll start sending that information out to businesses to see if they're interested in participating. And plan on doing manufacturing day again with the schools. Not sure what that's going to look like this year, but I'll figure it out.
Hey, Sue, I would encourage you to reach out to the County Farm Bureau. I know a couple of years ago, they did some things as far as taking high school kids around and showing them some of the different businesses that sometimes people don't necessarily see as ag-related jobs.
Okay.
But, you know, agriculture is quite diverse because of the support network. You know, everything from hardware stores, lumber yards, you know, the John Deere or international dealership. But, you know, I would say reach out to the County Farm Bureau. They may still have that list that they worked off of a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I will do that. We did do an agriculture day, not last year, it was the year before, I believe. And the kids, Andersons, and it was amazing. They couldn't believe the technology that goes into, you know, bringing in the crops and testing, you know, for moisture content and different things. But all the office technology, it's amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, I will reach out to Farm Bureau because we are very heavily agriculture in this community, and God bless our farmers. God, I would not do that job. Oh my gosh, those are people who believe in God, because anybody who would invest all their money in the spring and pray for enough rain, but not too much rain, enough sun, but not too much sun, and then hope you have a crop and make some money at the end of the year. Come on. You know, who does that?
Sue, there was an older gentleman I knew years ago who was also a farmer. He says farmers, or rather the folks that go to the casinos, don't have anything over farmers. We're the biggest gamblers there are. So
You got that right. So, you know, people see a combine going down the road, they need to just slow down and stop it and just behave. You know, you're growing my food. I'm all in. So, but that is what I have as an update. If anyone had any questions, I apologize, it took longer than I'd hoped, but.
you're doing fine. Any questions for Sue?
Sue, this is Julie.
Yes.
What did you say the county unemployment rate is? Did I hear you correctly that you said 37%?
Right this minute, it's at 37%. And you know, a lot of that is just because we haven't reopened everything too.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's going to change rapidly, and we're going to keep an eye on that, and we will keep that information published out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we will keep that information updated.
Anyone that wants to be on that mailing list or that emailing list that Sue indicated earlier, I would say either reach out to Sue or reach out to Julie, and they can add you to that list. So. Any other questions or comments for Sue?
Yes, I have a comment for Sue, Mark, if I may.
Go ahead.
Hi, Namrata.
Hi, Sue, and it was really very refreshing to just see this great presentation. I had gone through it yesterday, last evening, and and I think the right aspect of all of this is, like you mentioned to us, that this is who we really are. We are a rural community, and the way we market ourselves at the capacity of a rural community, the main key factors where you just outlined those in several ways. And if you may, I would like to be on that mailing list, and of course I'll request Julie to forward, or you, whatever works best. And I think at this point, this is a really true mission to continue. This is a true representation as it relates with the rural community to uplifting the rural economic development, which includes the farming. And like you rightly pinpointed, that they are the true believers in God, the right weather, the right framework, the right timing with everything as it relates with the crops, especially as it relates with certain time frame when we put in the strawberries. That reminds me that there's only a small little gap where they have just about 11 days to see with the suitable weather where they put all those in that time frame. So again, this is who we are, and I very rightly pinpointed in this presentation of yours gives us the checks and balances of how we're doing with the demographic, with the economic factor, and all of this is a great combination of the farming and the local small businesses. And I think you are so rightly pinpointing again, this presentation was very good, simple to understand, gave us the right data and statistics, because I am data and statistic driven person. It brings a lot to our table on the county. So I just want to thank you on that, Sue. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you very much, Namrata.
Anything else? Well, Sue, thanks for joining us, and look forward to future updates.
Absolutely. Always my pleasure, and I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, the next thing is the public hearing at 10 a.m. It is 15 minutes of the hour. So we will start committee reports, and at 10 o'clock we will go into the public hearing.